And welcome back to part 13, folks. This video is a little bit of a special one, because this episode marks 1 month of me let's playing on YouTube. It's pretty cool, and I wanted to mention that even if it kind of ruins the continuity of watching far in the distant future, I think it's a pretty neat benchmark to reach. And yeah, it's been great so far. And I slightly wanted to talk about that while this little cute dialogue between the janitor of the botanical gardens and the two goons is happening. Anyhow, they're making threats, they're planning to kill him, but not if we can help it. Take him out fairly easily, none of them are armed even with melee weapons. Just a few combo hits and they should both go down quite easily. Let's see what he has to say.
Are you okay?
Do I look okay? They were gonna kill me. We were in the aviary hiding out, and they came in with Joker shooting up the place and loaded us into cages.
Are they still in there?
No, man. No one's come out since. You got to help them.
Stay here.
Alright. We're really on the Joker's trail as of last episode, if you remember. And yeah, let's say today we finish up the Botanical Garden mission. How about that? The Mad Dog left his mark for sure, and an interview tape as well.
Where is Dr. Kellerman?
How should I know, Warden? It does seem careless of you to have lost him.
I have no time for your games, Miss Isley. Tell me where you have him. We have security footage of you and him leaving your cell last night.
So,
Do I need to spell it out? We know you hypnotized him, or whatever it is you do. We know he took you somewhere, but conveniently, security cameras across the island were mysteriously covered by leaves and flowers at 3 a.m. Now tell me what it is.
I'm not saying a word unless you do exactly what I tell you to do.
So, just like Scarecrow's tapes that I talked about way back when, pretty much every interview tape that concerns other doctors and characters that aren't really mentioned directly in the game is either a reference of characters that have played the characters that the tapes are directly about, or different universe first and last names of the characters from the interview tapes. I think it's pretty cool that they wanted to kind of leave Easter eggs throughout the collectibles. And yeah, it did sound a little convoluted the way I just phrased it, but basically every interview tape kind of contains more Easter eggs if you look into them, and the backstory of the names of the characters that they're mentioning.
That's the down one, right? Yeah, they're going down. Good. And remember, if you hear a collar go off, Batman's here.
Yeah,
Joker's
so
men
this
are
time
all wearing
around, the
security
Joker
collars.
isn't kidding.
I'll need to take out
If we
the
get
operator
spotted
first.
at all, even with only the sound of a suicide caller going off, the henchmen in the office area way at the top of the aviary will actually kill all the facility staff immediately. So what you have to do first is take out the most hidden guard, the one controlling the cages the doctors are swinging upon all the way at the top of the room. And it's pretty interesting and can be kind of challenging. But yeah, you can't get spotted at all or else you fail. So you really have to make use of all the nooks and crannies of this room that you usually wouldn't use when it comes to Predator sections. And I think that's pretty smart. At least from a game design standpoint, you know. Usually you'd use all the high vantage points around the room, including the gargoyles, which aren't here. But even if they were here, they wouldn't really be of much help, because the office area is enclosed all the way around 360 degrees as well. So you can't really glide into the office, even if there were any gargoyles. So all you have to do is pretty much take your time. Again, it's one of those patience riddles, really. If you're a patient person and you like spotting lines of sight through detective mode, you'll get through this quite easily. And there's actually quite a few routes you can take. I actually like this one, it's the most direct, it leads, again, directly to the ladder connecting to the office.
doesn't stand a
And
chance, not a
yeah,
chance.
just pay attention to the line of sight of the last guard here, and you can make a run for it, especially because Batman's really fast at climbing. If you get bad timing here, however, it might be too late, but
Incapacitated the main
you don't
threat.
have to do a silent takedown to beat the objective anyway. You just have to knock him out before he gets to kill the Arkham staff. And now that the main goon is gone, at least the one controlling all the command prompts in the office, you have a regular Predator section on your hands, and because it's almost top down now, you're at the top looking down at all the other henchmen you've passed up on before. It's actually pretty easy. All you have to do is take the first one out and then lay some explosive gel, and the rest will come to you. Again, you could have done that from the very beginning of all the Predator sections when you first get the gel upgrade from the Batmobile, but you know, for the most of them I still kind of like to be creative and show off all the different ways, so I saved all my gelling, so to speak, for this episode, because I find that in the botanical gardens it's really efficient. For some reason in this area of the game, way more so than the mansion or the medical facility, for example, all the henchmen really do come and check up on the henchmen you just took out, so you really have a nice field of view or area of effect when it comes to your explosive gel. And now that we've done with that, let's go to the bird cages that they've been kept in and talk to the staff some more. Because right now we're kind of at a dead end. We don't know where to go next. Even if you look at the map, we're kind of at a lost cause.
I'm sorry. I thought I was working for Dr. Young. I had no idea Joker was involved until he burst in the lab.
Where is the lab?
Back over there. I always get buzzed through. There's a hidden door, but, well, you know, it's hidden.
I'll find it. Stay here.
And if you've noticed, there's some more cuts on the suit. Man, we're really getting rugged and fairly poor condition, but we're holding up. And with that, the Riddler's getting more and more frustrated by us solving all his puzzles. This one involves the killer moth, sadly not a part of this game. But let's finish up the story of Poison Ivy.
No thanks to you. The poor man could have died.
So,
He has a wife, a child.
as do the plants he tramples underfoot. The spores he breathes in and destroys have children. Why does he deserve anything more than them? You people ignore what is happening in front of your eyes.
I refuse to put the welfare of plants before the welfare of people.
And that is why you will lose. There's more happening than you know, Warden. It's all connected.
You know, this last tape of Poison Ivy's really made me think about the fact that the Black Panther movie just came out. So again, if you're watching in the future, it's probably old news. You've probably already seen Infinity War and all the cool Marvel movies. But as of recording this, the last weekend was the weekend that Black Panther premiered. And in terms of film and effects, I really loved it. I mean, I can't imagine how much funding went into the CGI and effects alone. But also the deeper message and a lot of the connections that they make to the real world, you know? All the messaging is very powerful, and I thought the movie was pretty good. I'm not gonna say it was the best MCU movie ever made, like some people are already saying all over the internet, including the professional movie critics. But I thought it was very good, and I got reminded of that because of the tape talking about the connection of all.
Well, look who's discovered our secret lab. Since you've made it this far, let me show you what I've cooked up.
We haven't seen any Titans for quite a while, but I guess that this is the perfected Titan formula, huh? This time around, there's no regular henchman around, because the original Titan we fought was Bane, of course. And this time around is just two of the perfected Titans that the Joker created using the Dr. Young's formula. Now, this is probably the best area of the game, regardless of the difficulty you're playing on, to get the trophy called mano-a-mano. And it basically involves killing a Titan using your bare fists only. I don't show it off in this playthrough only because, well, in my opinion, it's not the most difficult task to achieve, but it is a lot more time consuming. Because when you can't use your batarangs, it's much harder to daze the Titans unless you make them run into each other, which honestly doesn't take a lot of skill, more so than just luck. You have to line them up like this, like you're just seeing, and then hope that the one that's standing behind the other is the one that charges at you. And if you can't achieve that, or if you're not lucky enough for that to happen, because you know, they occasionally stumble around and hit each other just like that. If you're not lucky enough for that to happen a lot, you'll take your sweet time getting that trophy. But yep, the mano-a-mano trophy is probably best located in this room. And again, this is probably your best chance to get it. Because even though I do believe you can unlock it through challenges, the challenges are both, I suppose, time-based in a way, and they're way more concerned about completing and making perfect combos, and you'll have a really hard time in that mode of the game to actually completely focus on the Titan fists only. So, you know, that would be my advice. If you're going for 100% completion when it comes to achievement hunting, I would definitely recommend this room. It's also, I think, important to mention that nothing of the Titan fights really changes here. It's just the introduction, I guess, visually to the perfected Titans Joker has made, story-wise, right? But when it comes to actually fighting them, it's pretty similar to Bane. The only difference being that when they lose a third of their health bar, they fall down to one knee, and just like Bane, but instead of the venom on his back, you actually ride on the backs of the Titans and can knock down the other Titan, of course, or you can knock down regular enemies, but we'll see that later on in the game more. But as it stands for now, just a few critical strike combos and we should be good to go.
Oracle, I've destroyed the Titan production facility, but Joker escaped with enough to cause us real problems.
Just when you think it can't get any worse.
They've been using a venom plant hybrid to create the Titan strain. The plant's the key, and there's only one person on Arkham Island who can help us.
And what makes you think Poison Ivy will help you?
If her plants are at risk, she'll listen. I have a sample of her pheromone signature on record. She'll be somewhere in the gardens. I'll track her down.
And with that, not only do we have a new objective, but we've also leveled up once again. And as you can see, there's only about 6 upgrades left, 2 of them being more armor, one of them being a remote controlled batarang that can also be used for another achievement that can be unlocked any time in the game, really, and 2 more explosive gel upgrades. I choose to go for one of the explosive gel upgrades because, as I said, it's quite useful for the Predator sections, especially when the suicide callers are involved. Before that, it was pretty easy to just,
I'm going to need something to get over this routine.
grapple around the room, take down different enemies, occasionally use a wall to blow it up. But nowadays, I really like spraying down henchmen with explosive gel as others run into it, because it's such a time saver. It's so efficient when it comes down to the Predator sections. That said though, looks like Batjet is being called up for some reason. Could this be another equipment upgrade? Let's see what it is. And we have the line launcher. This is one of the most fun equipments to use, in my opinion, in the entirety of Batman's tool belt, because it can obviously be used to get across ravines and, you know, for my favorites, Riddler trophies. But it can also be used in combat if you're quite clever about it, and it's really fun to use in combat because all you have to do really is aim it correctly, and you'll see in a second what I mean. Now, when it comes to combat using the line launcher, it doesn't necessarily matter if you're spotted or not, which is even more fun. That means you can just run in, well, I was about to say guns blazing, but I guess lines blazing sounds something like a cocaine addict would say. But yeah, all you have to do is aim it at the opposite wall that you're standing on, and if there's enemies on the other side, you'll kick them all out of your way and make them eligible for a ground takedown. It's pretty cool. And we've also unlocked a challenge that not many people like.
It's all right, my darlings. I'm here now, my poor darlings. Yes, I know he's found us, but I won't let him hurt you. I'll kill him first.
Ivy, I know Dr. Young mutated these plants to produce venom.
Yes, and I heard it through the grapevine the evil woman paid the price.
I need you to help me create an antidote.
Why should I? Let Joker have his fun. I'll enjoy watching you squirm.
You've been in the dark too long. Every plant on this island will get the same unless you cooperate.
There's a plant growing deep in Arkham Island. Only it can counter the effects of this Titan strain.
Where do I find it?
Oh, in Killer Croc's lair. You didn't think it would be easy, did you?
Go back to your cell, or I'll be after you next.
And I'll be waiting.
Just rewatching this whole episode in post makes me think that there are so many good thumbnail options for this episode. I wonder what I end up actually going with. But yep, looks like we're paying a visit to Killer Croc next, and that's not something I'm really looking forward to, both story-wise and gameplay-wise, if you've played the game before. But that was incredibly fun, like I said. Sadly though, that's a lot of enemies in a small confined area, and you'll have to be quick on your feet to make sure to counter all of their attacks. I have to say, as much as I complain sometimes about the poor placement of the enemies in this game, when it comes to playing on hard mode, you wouldn't believe how much harder it actually is. Which makes sense, of course, right? But it's almost not the same game when you play on hard. It's all of a sudden a very difficult combat simulator. And compared to this, you know, this is a cakewalk. This is just fun. This is free XP collection as far as I'm concerned, comparing when I think about my days of the test playthrough when I'm playing on hard. I do make a lot of comparisons about that playthrough and this one throughout these episodes, so perhaps I actually should have played on hard. But, you know, to each their own. I think I really like the fact that I focused on all the collectibles and the backstory, and obviously the main story of the game when it comes to this playthrough. And I'm pretty proud of that. I mean, as I said, it is my first month anniversary today, or tomorrow, as this video is going up, especially depending on your time zones. And yeah, I guess for the first season, if you want to call it, of the Ardentex show, it's been going pretty well, you know? I expected much worse, if I'm being completely honest, so at least I didn't disappoint myself. I could have done better too. But that's neither here nor there. Alright, So this area of the botanical gardens now is completely filled with electrified water, and you do want to be careful in this section, because if you go crazy, if you go hog wild there and go for that ground takedown, there's a good chance that even within the animation you'll jump into the electrified water. So you want to be careful fighting these two guards. You know, it's not the easiest two guards you'll ever fight, but like I said before, if you're playing on hard mode, you're pretty much looking forward to cutscenes and boss fights all game long, because the regular henchmen are the most difficult challenge of the game, at least in my opinion. I don't think actually anything else changes, really. Perhaps the enemies can take more hits, but that's not really noticeable when you're really easily getting killed, especially without the counter notice. To save you some time, I made a quick transition if you noticed. All you have to do is take out the first enemy, use your explosive gel, upgrade it or not, again it works the same, and a group of 3 enemies actually comes to check that body out. And with a really slick maneuver like this one, you can get a silent takedown in the last one. I'm actually really proud of that last takedown. Hopping the fence with perfect timing to take out the last enemy, that was great. Anyway though, they've pretty much set a trap of a whole bunch of rooms that you've already been through, with more sections that are, I guess, progressively more and more difficult. Some of them test out the line launcher, and, you know, some of them just make you revisit the Predator sections again. But with that, we're pretty much at the home stretch when it comes to getting out of the botanical gardens. Not a lot we have to do. But that said though, something crazy is happening. Looks like the Titan formula has been given to Poison Ivy. And yeah, that's not what we planned. We just wanted to get the serum to stop the Joker, and now her plants are massively overgrown and causing earthquakes all around the island. Well, I guess there's nothing much more to say, huh? Next time around, we'll visit Aaron Cash and try to find out where the Killer Croc is. And also, after we do that, let's find the serum and stop Poison Ivy as well. See you guys next time.
Looks like the plants are mutating further. That pod appears to contain similar spores to the ones Ivy used to attack Gotham last year. They're deadly.